Hi, everyone. My name is Gaia Volmore. I'm the parent coordinator at Academic Explorers. For those of you that don't know, at Academic Explorers, we provide childcare for children young as 6 weeks old up until the age of 12 years old. Part of my role as the parent coordinator is to help you through the enrollment process. In my experience, many families are unaware that they can get help for paying for childcare. So the goal of this workshop is to share information about childcare tuition assistance options. At Academic Explorers, we accept many different types of assistance. The most commonly used is from Nassau County DSS. So we'll cover that in more details, but there are a few other options you may be unaware of. As questions arise, please leave them in the chat box, or you can send us a text message at 516-535-9691. We'll respond to questions at the end of the workshop. My hope is to support you not only through the registration process in our program, but also through discovering the options to make our childcare program more affordable. We're going to go ahead and get started now. Don't forget to send your questions. Thank you.
I will start off by mentioning that the purpose of this workshop is to inform you on childcare assistance options available to you. We do not represent any childcare assistance program, and we cannot determine eligibility for you. If you're interested in any of the agencies or programs we mention in this presentation, please contact them directly. So what is childcare assistance? Childcare assistance programs are put in place for families that are in need of childcare and need help paying for it. Some assistance programs may also be benefits provided by your employer, regardless of your income or ability to pay. Assistance programs allows parents to work, attend school, or train for a job while their child is being cared for. Many families are unaware that they qualify for assistance, and we hope that this workshop helps you to discover if the option is available to you. There are a few different types of assistance that we accept at our Academic Explorers locations. Some locations may accept different types of assistance than others. The most commonly used type of assistance that we have is called the Childcare Assistance Program, which is a New York State program. It is facilitated, if I'm not mistaken, if that's the right terminology, by the different counties within each region of the state. And as you know, our programs are located in Nassau County. So we do have a contract with Nassau County DSS, Department of Social Services, and we also have a contract now at one of our locations, in the Merrick location, for the Suffolk County DSS program. We also accept the Childcare Assistance Program from New York City Administration of Children's Services. So those three counties, Nassau County, Suffolk County, and New York City, all have childcare assistance program options available for families who are eligible. And we'll cover that in much more detail in a few minutes from now. But I do want to make you aware of other childcare assistance options that are available based on what we accept in our programs at Academic Explorers. We also accept Childcare Aware of America. This is usually families that are in the military may be eligible for Childcare Aware of America benefits. And I have a slide to go over that in a second, but I quickly want to go through the 1199 SEIU Fund Childcare Corporation and the TWU Local 100 MTA Childcare Fund. Those are two programs that we have a few families in the past have used, and these are vouchers directly from those families' jobs. For the TWU Local MTA Fund, if you work for If you are an active TA, OA, or MTA bus employee represented by TWU, you may be eligible for this TWU local fund. Okay, and as far as the 1199 SEIU funds, there are hundreds of employers that offer childcare if they have the 1199 SEIU program. So you can use this, and if this sounds familiar to you based on your job, you can let us know in the chat, or you can text us and we can send you this link if you don't have it already, where you can search for your employer name to see if your employer participates in this fund. Because as you can see, as of the date of this workshop, there's 331 different employers nationwide. So your job might offer you a childcare voucher. And even if you don't see anything familiar on this slide, maybe you should, especially if you work for a larger employer, you can always ask the appropriate department at your job if a childcare benefit exists for you. And if it does, and if it's not listed here, it doesn't mean we wouldn't accept it. We will likely be able to go through whatever application process to begin accepting it if that option is available. So whatever you might have as an option, bring it to us and we would be happy to help you. Going back to Childcare Aware of America very briefly, if you are someone that is in the military, the Navy, the Air Force, Marine Corps, or Army, you may be able to participate in this fee assistance program. Childcare Aware of America partners with the United States military and Department of Defense to serve and support their families through the fee assistance and respite childcare programs. And we now have a contract again at our Merrick location to accept families through this assistance program. So if you or the other parent of your child is a military member, definitely reach out to us to look into this, or reach out to the appropriate department within your branch. To go over the fee assistance program, there is an image missing here. I'm not sure where it went. Oh, there it is. Going back to the child care assistance program with New York State, there is a website that you can go to see if you are eligible. You can scan this QR code that's here on the screen, or text or type in the link that's here, or text us and we can send it to you, and you'll get a survey of questions. It's really quick. It can take you less than 5 minutes. Once you scan that link or go to that website or text us and we can send it to you, you can start the process of answering these questions. Do you have a child 13? And you don't have to enter your personal information to do this questionnaire. This is not the application for assistance. This is just to help you determine if you're eligible. So you would be asked, do you have a child younger than 13 years old? Do you have an open CPS case? Are you a foster parent in need of care for a foster child? Do you work? Do you receive temporary assistance? Do you have family resources that are more than $1 million? And then it warns you that you have, the next question is going to ask you about money. However, again, you shouldn't be turned off by it because you're not adding in personal information about your name or anything related to you. You can literally just put in your information without disclosing that and see if you might be eligible. So if I live in a 3-person household, and you have to add in the income of everybody in the house, gross income, which means before taxes are taken out, before any taxes and withholdings are removed from your checks, what is your gross income? So if you make $1,500 and the other parent, you would click add person. If that other parent makes $1,000 a month, and you put that there's 3 people in the household, including yourself, then click next. Estimated decision will pop up that says you may be eligible, or it might say you may not be eligible. However, you're going to be encouraged to apply through your local social services district, which in most cases, if you live in Nassau County, it would be Nassau County Department of Social Services. So this is just a tool, and if you don't live in Nassau County, you can use this drop-down menu to find your county, and it will tell you who to contact, what the address is, and there's even an email address in some cases. So consider that. If you're in New York City, because we do accept New York City ACS or HRA, there's a website specifically for New York City that lists all of the application process steps. If you're in Nassau County, there is a website for that as well. If you're in Suffolk County, there is a PDF that lists the steps for the application process. Whatever county you're in, or wherever you are needing in childcare from, please just let us know so we can help you. You can text us. Once again, the number is here at the bottom of the slide, 516-535-9691. Again, if you have questions throughout this presentation, please text us. And if you need the links for anything referenced, you can also text us as well. This next slide is helping you determine how to calculate your monthly gross income. Again, it would be before taxes. You can calculate it annually and divide it by 12 months. If you know what your annual income is, just divide it by 12. If you get weekly income, you would calculate how much you get before taxes and multiply that times 52 weeks. If you are hourly, you would multiply your hourly wage times the number of hours you work per week times 52 weeks in a year. And you would repeat that step for every adult in your household. So how much tuition does DSS cover? If you are going to go through DSS, whether you're in Nassau County or Suffolk County, these are the maximum amounts of tuition that DSS does cover based on a child's age. Our tuition rates may be more than this, slightly more, and there may be a difference in the amount that we charge versus how much DSS covers. So if that is the case, you will be notified based on the schedule and tuition option that you select from our program during the registration process. It is important to note that we charge tuition on a weekly basis. We do not charge daily or part day, but this is what DSS pays. So our tuition is based on enrollment on a weekly basis, not hourly, not daily or part day. How do you apply for DSS? There are a lot of required documentation and verifications that you have to submit. There is an application. This is a screenshot of the first page, currently what the first page looks like, if I'm not mistaken, which you can get delivered to you. You could contact DSS and have them mail it to your house, or you can go there and pick up an application in person. You need to fill out this application for childcare assistance. You also need to submit everything that is required, which is listed on this document, this PDF, which we can send to you if you'd like. If you go to the second page of this form that is from Nassau County DSS, it says required eligibility information and instructions. You have to have the application for assistance, which you can get from DSS, like I said. You have to give consent that you wish to apply, which is a form that you have to fill out, form number 632. You sign that form. You have to provide verification of your residence. You have to provide verification of your identity and your marital status if you're married. You have to provide verification of income if you have any. So if you have pay stubs, you have to submit the last 4 weeks or last month of current pay stubs, and a specific form must be completed by your employer. If you do not receive pay stubs, you're going to need a letter from your employer on a company letterhead verifying your employment. If you are self-employed, there is a form that you have to complete and get notarized. And you have to submit a copy of your tax return and filings. You must submit proof of income for everyone in the household that you are claiming lives with you. You also need to provide a capacity letter from the daycare, which would be us. We would give you a letter that says how much space we have available, basically stating that we have the available space for your child. And you have to submit verification of custody for the children that you are applying for daycare for. And if you have child support income, you have to provide that information as well under your income section. And you have to include verification of your household composition, which could include a statement from your landlord. So it is a lot of documentation. It's not difficult, but it is tedious to gather. I would recommend that you gather everything at once before submitting so that you're not going back and forth or losing paperwork. And again, this is what you need specifically for Nassau County DSS as of the date of this workshop, according to this document. Things could change. Again, we're not representatives from Nassau County, so we can't tell you what would be needed in the future, but this is what is needed as of right now. So when you submit the application along with everything listed in that document, it is recommended that you go there in person and drop it off. But you could, if you can't do that because of the hours, you could mail it in or use their Dropbox system. Whatever agency or organization you choose to apply with, if you are eligible or if you feel you might be eligible, we strongly recommend that you contact that agency or that department as soon as possible on your own so that you can be informed directly from them what the requirements are. Once you contact them and ask for an application, just be aware that the application process may take a few weeks. Once the application is submitted, or before you get to that part of submitting the application, understand that especially if you're applying for DSS, it would be helpful, or has proven to be helpful in many cases with families that have used it in our program. If you go there in person and drop the application off to the window and ask for documentation like a receipt as proof of the fact that you submitted all the required documents. If you're submitting something to a person at the window, they can verify what you gave them versus mailing it in where it could possibly get lost, or putting it in the Dropbox and you may not realize that you're missing some forms, or they may claim that they didn't get what you sent. So making the time to go to the window could be very helpful in quickly processing your application. Once you apply with DSS, we will hold your spot for 2 weeks if you complete our registration forms. And that rule stands for regardless of how you're registering with us. If you're registering through DSS or any other job-sponsored childcare or ACS or Suffolk County, whatever it is, or if you're paying privately, we do hold spots only for 2 weeks once the registration forms are completed. After the 2 weeks, your spot may be up for, may be at risk to be let go if someone else is on the waiting list for that spot. So if you're waiting to be approved for childcare and would like to start with us, you could begin paying privately after 2 weeks. And if you get approved for the childcare assistance program or the voucher, and they agree to retro pay or back pay us, we will absolutely refund you any monies that you paid up front. But that is the process. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask before we leave this presentation, now's the time to put it in the chat. And if not, then thank you so much for being here and watching with us.